Hey everybody. Yesterday I had kind of a weird day and I did something I don't really know how I feel about it. But I mean, it was just sort of a comedy of errors, really. So, I'd been taking my daughter to the park in the morning, like when we drop her dad off at work, then my husband off at work, we would be going to the park because I'm a teacher, and so right now I'm not in school. So, I'm able to be with her. But we've got like 1,000 things to do in this house, and I had the roofer coming over today, and I had to run errands for the 4th of July, and anyway, it's just been kind of a day. So she went to daycare today just for a little bit. She's got a pediatrician appointment in the afternoon, and we're going to be discussing medication with him, and I'm like really nervous about that. I'm like crawling out of my skin. Which is probably why yesterday was such a weird day for me. It was probably more, I probably had more nerves than I realized. But anyway, so yesterday was just filled with lots of things, lots of feelings. So, like I said, I took her to the park, and it's a park she's familiar with. And we showed up, and I'd packed all the snacks. I'd gotten her excited about going, and we get there, and there's dew on the grass. And lately, I'm not really sure why, but lately, my daughter she doesn't like the wet feeling on the bottom of her feet or on the bottom of her shoes. And so that immediately became a problem. I mean, she's wearing tennis shoes with socks, and it wasn't like she stepped in a puddle. It's just she could kind of feel the moisture, and she really didn't like it. Which has been part of an ongoing problem with us because now she doesn't really. She'll take a bath, which is weird, but she won't, like, she doesn't have any interest in getting in the pool, which is sucky because it's hot here. It's in South Carolina, and I'm like dying. So a pool membership would be a completely waste of money. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent again. So anyway, we get to the park. She's already not having it because the grass is wet because it's early in the morning and there's dew everywhere. And so I'm like, okay, well, we'll move to the sidewalk. So we go to the sidewalk, and everything seems chill. And then she sits down on the sidewalk and starts to act like we're might be getting overstimulated, might be headed towards, here's dysregulation and possible meltdown, and here's the road for I'm gonna stand up and go play in the park. And I could feel it was like more, it was, we're going down the road that is gonna end in tears. So I started kind of figuring that we need to come up with an exit strategy here because she's getting kind of antsy, and I can tell. So she has no interest in going to the park that we've gone to probably 10 times at this point. She doesn't like the feeling on her feet, whatever that may be today. Like if it had been a different day, it might not have bothered her, but today, for whatever reason, it was really an issue. Then, and this is the part that I'm like, I feel weird about because, I mean, I don't want to be like a hermit and, hide. But I saw two women that I know with their kids, two women that I work with, and they were two other teachers, and they were at the same park, and I immediately panicked because my child's sitting on the ground. She's clearly having some sort of sensory issue situation. Um, and I just really didn't want to have the conversation with them like, hi, this is my daughter. Yeah, we aren't enjoying the park because we're autistic and we got our feet are wet. And I mean, because I'm not really sure if it's not that I'm upset about my daughter's autism. I think I'm more anxious about having to deal with people's reactions to things. Um, and I was also kind of afraid that I would get upset and then start crying and then it would be a whole thing. So, I mean, I panicked and like I looked at my daughter and I was like, "Let's go get ice cream." I know that's terrible. I just lied to my child and said, "Let's go get ice cream." And obviously there was no ice cream, but it got her to get up off the ground and go into the car. Usually when I use the ice cream bribe, there is ice cream, but it was like 9 o'clock in the 8:30 in the morning, and I didn't really know where to get ice cream at that time in the morning, or if that was even the right move. Um, but the point is that I ran away from two people that I know, like two people that are nice to me, that are kind to me, that would totally have been gracious and understanding about the situation, but I literally just couldn't deal with thinking about how I was going to navigate what was going on with my child while trying to be social with them. And then I could feel like, well, what if they invite me to come sit with them on the bench and then they want Early to play with their kids, and it just all devolves into this super meltdown where my child really doesn't. Anyway, I mean, my mind was going to some dark places as far as like how 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 this could get worse. So, and my kid already didn't want to go. My daughter didn't want to go into the park to begin with. So, I was just, I mean, it was like a scene from a movie where you're hiding from somebody, like in a spy movie or something. And I was like ducking behind trees and, um, you know, getting my daughter into the car quickly and just like peeling out of the parking space. I mean, it was really, really stupid. But I I didn't see any other option. I needed to get out of there. And my daughter needed to get out of there. She didn't want to be at the park anyway because of her situation that she had gotten in because she got her feet wet and she didn't like that feeling. So we were already headed for disaster anyway. And but I just kept thinking about how after I left, I ended up taking her to a different park where there were no other children, and it was they had not grass, it was what's this, mulch. It was mulch, so it wasn't wet on the ground. There was no dew. It wasn't gonna bother her. She only ended up playing for like 5 minutes anyway, but um, yeah, I just kept thinking. I just kept thinking a lot of things. I kept thinking a lot of things. One of them was, this is so hard, and I just want to go to the park like a parent does and let their child play. I just want her to want to have fun with other kids. Oh, and then like when we got there, it was already a disaster, and then I spilled coffee and snacks all over myself. I don't know if I mentioned that already. And then we got home, and after we got home, I mean, we've been working on this potty training thing, and we do the fruit snacks as an incentive, and I know that, like, I'd get crucified for doing that by a lot of parents, but come live my life, you don't know what we're dealing with over here. So, but so she'll go, and sometimes she'll want to go, and then sometimes she'll not want to go. But yesterday, I've had some success with just wearing her panties and stuff, and monitoring her like a hawk, and because if I let her go bare butt, sometimes that can turn into a disaster. And plus, I gave her Pedialyte yesterday to kind of help her movement along a little bit. But anyway, so we had some successful pottying yesterday, peeing anyway. And then I was feeling really hopeful because I had given her that Pedialyte, and then I gave her another dose, and I was like, okay, here's my chance, because I'm gonna catch her when she's trying to poop, and I'm gonna just put her on the potty, and it's gonna be awesome. What happened was I turned away for a split second, and she had already started pooping in her panties, and I was trying to convince her to go on the potty, chasing her around the house. I mean, not in a scary way, just like saying, okay, let's go on the potty, come on, let's go on the potty. And a lot of refusals. It ended up that she did eventually sit on the potty. She took her poopy panties off. Those obviously I threw away in the trash. If it's like an amount of poop that I can actually scrape off, I just throw them away. Like, we're not washing that. That's nasty. I mean, I'm not washing it. I know that seems wasteful, but I deal with enough. There's no way I'm gonna put that in the washing machine. But so then yet again I put her on the potty and walked away to get her some water for just a second, and when I came back she had poop all over her hands, and I had to clean that off, I had to clean her off. And she was fine. It wasn't meltdown city. It wasn't utter chaos or anything like that. But it's always gross. And she wasn't like poop smearing. She just was like seeing it and like, I think, wanting to clean it. And she stuck her hand down there. But anyway, I got her cleaned up, and then some time passed, and I got my husband from work. We came home utterly exhausted at this point. We're both exhausted because I've been hanging out with her all day and doing that kind of thing. And then, my husband, he has, his job requires a lot of physical labor, so he's already kind of like just by the time he gets home, plus it's so hot outside. So anyway, I put on a cartoon for my daughter in the back, and I could hear her stimming back there and just kind of like doing her thing. And I started to kind of get a little drowsy, and I was like, all right, just give me, 30 minutes to just sit for just a second. And that was long enough and this is all my fault, but it was just long enough for her to find my makeup bag, which I thought I had put up higher. And she decided that she was going to have a little spa day. And so she rubbed mascara all over her mouth. And then she found the nail polish and she put it on her feet. It didn't get anywhere but her body. I mean, it wasn't really that big of a mess. And honestly, when I found her, like 30 minutes later, I was just relieved that it wasn't poop. Because at first I thought, oh my God, this is poop and it's everywhere. It wasn't poop. It was just, and I'd already had her bath running, so she had also gotten into the vitamins And I don't know how this happened in the span of, really, it was more like 15 minutes. And like, normally when I put a show on for her, she doesn't get into anything, and but she's very curious. So I've learned my lesson. We've already moved. I mean, from the time she was a baby, we didn't have anything dangerous within her reach, like no pills, Advil, anything like that. Nothing Tylenol, nothing that she can ingest. And but now I know that she's becoming curious about, all the different toiletries. So she got into the toothbrushes and the ear swabs and all the things. And so I had some cleanup there to do, but nothing got broken. She didn't hurt herself, and everything washed off fine. But it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, I really can't leave anything. I mean, she's really smart, and so I can't leave anything out that she might be curious about, which is basically everything. But yeah, so we had that little catastrophe, and then I wasn't making her pizza quick enough. Well, I made the mistake of telling her that we had pizza, and I hadn't even put it in the oven yet, which is like a rookie mistake. Like, you don't do that. Like, you say that you have the thing after it's already made. Because communicating to her that it was going to take more time proved to be very difficult, and she already doesn't have a lot of patience, and so, but at the end of it, she understood that it was still in the oven and then it had needed time to cook. And I'm telling you what, as soon as it came out of the oven, she was expecting me to cut it and put it on the plate, and I was like, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. But everything worked out. She went to bed and it was okay. It just was one of those days where you get up on the wrong side of you get up on the wrong side of the bed, and your day is just doomed from the beginning. But anyway, those are just some things that happened to me today. I'll talk to y'all later.